As you can see, it is dark, but I want to do this. So, wow, what a fucking shit show England played in. You won't be able to see me because it is incredibly dark, but oh my god, I don't think we've played that bad at a tournament since 2016. And we will win against Slovenia. I don't see... I could see us drawing, but I do think we're still through. Because if we get a draw, we get 5 points. We're through. But that's not the point. We should be winning against Denmark very easily. And what I saw tonight... I was working. I was like, okay, I'll put the football on the side. It isn't going to distract me much, but I couldn't watch it. I really couldn't watch it. I'm shocked by the performance. There was no passion, there was no heart, and before people start, I think Southgate made so many wrong decisions today. I've said this about Kane in my previous game. I don't think Kane's that good to start today. We had Ollie Watkins up front, Anthony Gordon as well. You know, make some changes, have some balls. You know, don't fucking do, something fucking like that. And prospect, I'm just like, fuck me. I'm gonna do the rest tomorrow because I just don't have the words right now to explain that performance. And I was working, so I didn't watch all of it. But what I saw was just gone backwards. We're probably the worst team in this tournament now. With the performance we've played, I've not seen a team play so slowly that it just go horribly wrong. I'm speechless. I'm fuming because England should be top 2, and it's only up to them if they want to get top 2 now. And they have to wake up, because even if we get to the knockout rounds, I don't even think we get past any of the teams. I mean, even Romania, I think if we finish first, it could still be on the cards. We could have Romania. And I'll be honest with you, Romania have been good. Any of those third place teams from Group E to Group D to F have been really good, especially Group D. Group D, Austria and Poland could be in that position for sure. You don't want to come against one of those. They've been really good. I mean, Group E, Belgium and Belgium, Romania, Slovakia, and Ukraine. Ukraine, they've got a bit of history of us the last 2 Euros. It's just fucking stupid. I'm gonna go and sleep now. I'll do the second part of this video in the morning. I can't fucking believe that has happened. We've been bent over like anyone's business and allow them to come back. And we knew Denmark were going to do that. It's the exact same game plan as last time. I don't know why it didn't change. It's not Southgate's fault. I give it 50% to Southgate, 50% to the players. There's no passion. Last game, at least we had a bit of heart. We don't have any heart. And I think we're not going far. We won't go past round 16 at this point. But I'll see you guys in the morning. Hi guys. I've kind of calmed down. I stuttered earlier because I was like, surely not. I mean, I hate to say this, but for years, I've always backed Southgate, but now I'm like, you can't. You just generally can't. It is like the the older child that you know keeps going out at night and keeps breaking the rules and doesn't come back, and you want to be on its side, but you can't. It's. I was watching Mark Goldbridge because I always watch him. He's critical and he's never liked Southgate, and I think the criticism is mainly on his head because he didn't change the squad. But I think I don't understand why we're going into a tournament and we're not picking players for this natural position. And this is back to the people you picked. I mean, a Rashford and Grealish weren't picked, and I was gobsmacked. They've not been, and even Harry Maguire, you pick those players, even if they've not had a great season. The England form is amazing, Grealish especially. But yeah, Ollie Watkins had no character when he came on. I mean, he needs more minutes. Cole Palmer didn't even come on. I'm fuming that Cole Palmer hasn't started or even come on from the bench. Anthony Gordon, another great player, not started. I mean, the only player that I'm proud of tonight, and if you're really close and you look at it, it was literally, I think, in extra time when they got that free kick, the last free kick before the whistle blew. You could see Pickford is getting angry because there's no communication. You and it's something that you wouldn't have expected if you didn't look at the game in proper detail. But I always look at these games in proper detail when I watch them, and that's why I don't like, if sometimes I don't, but for England I do. And I just reading Pickford's body language at that last free kick, he's fuming. There's no communication, and it's actually the first time in any England game I've seen England players not talking to each other and not like communicating. And I mean, it was countless of times. Like Declan Rice, he was awful tonight. He was absolutely awful. Because Saka was our best player and has been our best player all tournament, but even that, it just didn't do anything. And there's that question in the back of my mind: had we drawn that first game, how are we gonna, get out of the situation? I mean, it could be a weird situation where we could finish third and then go on to win the tournament like Portugal, but I don't think that's going to happen. We have to win the next game and comfortably by 4 or 5 goals because that's a bit harsh on Slovenia. I think we'll win probably 2-1, but it's a big step for England, and the sooner we get out of this tournament, I think we do need to sack Southgate and we need a new manager. I'd rather us have an Eddie Howe or someone that's got a bit more balls. We don't have balls anymore. We had balls at the last Euros. I think that was our best chance ever. We played decent football throughout the whole group stages up to, I think, the Scotland game. I think that's the only game where we played particularly badly, and in the penalty shootout at the finals. But it's frustrating because this England team can go on to win 9 points like the Germans, and I'm looking at other teams. Even Spain tonight. Spain weren't good. Were not good today against Italy, but they found the way. Serbia, the same again. They found a way to get a draw. At France, they were really bad against Austria. They found a way to win. Same with the Dutch. We'll have to see how they do tomorrow against France. But every team is putting their foot out and is doing something. Like Gay, the number 6 player, Gay, I like him, but he hasn't got the experience of a Luke Shaw or Harry Maguire, and you put those people in, and I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And what would annoy me, if any of the players are watching home, Harry Maguire, if you put him in centre back, you are covered for a game. It would be no problem us holding on to 1-0 victory. And that's why we went on to clean sheet every game until the Denmark and Italy game. And yeah, holding and parking the bus is a big issue. We've done it every tournament with Southgate, and it now is creeping in. But I don't want to say Southgate out, but I have to. There's no other option. We need a new manager. We need a manager with a brain that can actually bring players on, not like in the 65th minute, 30th minute. We needed to make changes at half time. That's when you make your changes. Every big manager does it. Spain have done it. Italy have done it in the past. Germany have done it in the past. Why aren't we doing it? And the problem is, I think a big problem for the FA is, who do you put in that position? Who do you trust? Do you go out the box for the FA? I think for the FA, it's funny I'm wearing an actual proper England shirt. No disrespect to the Three Lions. Actually, yes, disrespect to the Three Lions. But I look at it and I'm like, I don't want to watch England anymore. I loved England every tournament. But ever since that quarter-final against France, I've not enjoyed it. And I just don't. I've said this. I said this to my brother Sam before I went to Canberra last Monday, before the tournament even began. The choices he made before the tournament, I was like, we're not winning this. That squad he has picked would be fine if we didn't have players like Grealish, Maguire. You pick those two. Rashford, bloody hell. I know Rashford had a really shit season, but if you bring him on in a game against Denmark in that second half, you win that game with Rashford. I'm not even kidding. But it's a ball ache to keep doing this for England and not going through the same process. But it's not like previous times. This is so different. We are so slow. We're not creative. Okay, we do this normally. We're not like a very fast team like France or an Italy or a Spain. But we're very slow. And I said this, get rid of Kane. He isn't good anymore. He's not worthy of an England spot. I would have taken him out, preferred Rashford in that position, then Kane. I'll be honest with you, he was not too bad today, but still, this is a problem. You got players going into positions that shouldn't be going into positions, and Shearer, rightfully so, was getting annoyed. You could tell in his commentary today, he was fuming, and we're lucky to get away with a draw. We're lucky that Denmark didn't produce, many quality shots. I'll be honest with you, they did a few in the second half, but that second half was awful. And for me, it's going to take a lot more courage than, just a few changes. We need to completely change the squad. I mean, the only player that I've been impressed by is Pickford. I'll be honest with you, he's gone a long way, but something's wrong in that camp. Something is completely weird with the dynamic. We've not been like this with Southgate before. And like the Southgate doubters are right to ban on about it constantly because, you know, I'm not Southgate in, I'm not Southgate out. I'm in the mix now. I've been in the mix last tournament. I know it sounds harsh because we came against a strong French team and we did well. But even that, we produced a really good performance. And we're not producing any of that. God forbid, whoever we play against in round 16, I think would just get past round 16. Quarterfinal could be an exit, I feel. Whoever we meet in the quarterfinals, we're going to get knocked out. Because if it's Austria, I'll be honest with you, I can't see us being an Austria or Czechia anymore. I can't see us beating a Slovenia. I'm not even joking. Slovenia have been the best team in our group. Denmark have been sketchy, and I don't think they should have any right of saying, "Oh, it's never coming home." Fair enough, you can take the piss out of us because we beat you last time out, but your team's been goddamn awful, mate. And I predict they're going to lose to Serbia, and I think we could lose to Slovenia. I think Slovenia and Serbia could go through, and that just you look at that and you're like, wow, just reflects on both teams. But yeah, I don't mind Denmark fans having telling us, oh, it's never coming home, because it won't this time round. It won't. And you know, 2026 and 2028 around the corner, I think. And it sounds so disappointing that I'm talking about the next tournaments, but I can't see it happening. And I said this in my prediction. I didn't think England were going to get past semi-final, but now, thinking about it, it looks like a quarter-final exit for us. If you're being honest, yeah, I think whoever we come against, Belgium have improved. Belgium will always improve and will always beat us. Netherlands, that could be a good game for us in the quarterfinals, but still I think they beat us with how they've been playing. And you know, even if we get past the quarters, we've still got to come against potentially a Portugal or France on our end of the stick. And you look at it and you're like, don't fancy that. Don't fancy that pain. But it's so disappointing. I've not said this in any point in the Southgate era, but now I'm thinking, I wish I could rewind the time and hope, you know, next time we pick Grealish, we pick Rashford, we pick these players because they weren't picked, and I don't understand it. We're going off of form, fair enough, but you've not done that ever, Southgate, and fair enough. But there's players like Ivan Toney, Cole Palmer, who's still on the bench, who are not playing, and we should be using them. You know, we used 4 of the 5 subs. We should have used all 5 today. And literally before the 60-minute marker, I thought we'd bring 3 changes on in the beginning of the second half. I think you take Kane off. I think you take Alexander-Arnold off. And then you may make a change at the back, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, their goal was incredibly lucky, but it was good technique. You can't disagree with that. Their goal was perfect, and it's a wake-up call. And we can go from this could make our tournament or could break our tournament. And I said this last episode of my review. I said it's not coming home yet, and I'm going to keep that in my locker because I don't think it is this time round. And it's been more clearer. And you got to think, my first tournament was 2010. the first tournament that I recognise of England and remember is 2010. I remember how shit England were 2010, 2012, 2016 and 2014. This could be a fifth tournament where England are really bad. And even worse than those tournaments. At least in 2010, we had some quality. I mean, am I right? Am I wrong? I said this on my Instagram story. I feel Euro 2016 vibes with this England squad. It's going to get us out the group stages, but round of 16 quarterfinal should be our early exit. Should be where we exit now. And I said this. I've said this in my predictions. I don't think England are going to win this tournament, but I wish they could give it a bash, and give it a try, like last tournaments. It is heartbreaking to go from where we were last tournament 3 years ago to where we are now. And we've not improved. We've not improved. We exited the quarterfinals, and yes, we came against a really strong French team, and we were good. That was our best ever game, ever, in any competition with Southgate. But again, it's that question of over. Is it overachievement for Southgate or is it underachieving? I think we've overachieved with him. But I don't know. I don't know anymore. It just something's not clicking, and I don't understand it. It's not always. It's nothing to do with the manager this time around. It's the players. Look at them. They were shit today. Excuse my language, but they were awful. They look tired. They don't even want to be there. And people are saying it's Southgate. No, it's not Southgate. It's the players. The players were shit. I'll give you 40% it's the manager's fault and he should be changing the squads after that dismal performance. But yes, you've won the game. And managers tend to not change their squad much if they win. Being honest with you. To see no Jude Bellingham doing anything. No Kane doing anything. I've not enjoyed Kane at all in this England squad. Not even Saka today made an impact that was worthy of a world-class performance. These players are amazing at their clubs, but not for England today. The only man who I'm proud of is Pickford. He called out his teammates and is saying to them, well, someone needs to take this free kick. And I gotta say, we've got to be bold. We've got to have moments. We had moments last game. But 20 minutes of football, 15 minutes of football, that's 35 minutes over the last 2 games where we have looked good. And we're lucky to get away with the draw. And I'm glad we have drawn because this is going to do one or two things. It's either going to wake us up or we go even further backwards and we lose. And I can tell you now, with that performance, we will lose to Slovenia. We will lose to Slovenia. Slovenia have been perfect. They've been unlucky today. Very unlucky to draw. I mean, their defence was poor in the last 20 minutes. That's what lost them the game. But we got sloppy. We got really sloppy. We looked tired. We look unenergetic. And we just don't want to be in Germany. I think all those boys just want a holiday. And I don't blame some of them, but some of them haven't won anything this year. Saka, Declan Rice, You know, there's a few bunch, but most of our players haven't won anything. And if I've got to be honest, it's dismal. If you haven't won a trophy all season, like Declan Rice, like Bukayo Saka, surely you're going to want it more. Surely you're going to want to put a statement saying, yeah, I may not won the Premier League this year. Same as Anthony Gordon. I know he didn't have any impact. Same as Cole Palmer. I know he didn't have any impact. Ivy Toney, near the relegation spot with Brentford. You know, I may have not performed well in the season, but let me go out there and do something in Germany. But no, it's not that anymore. It's fucking... I have no words anymore. And I will swear. I will get angry. I was fuming. But we have to move on and learn. And I'm glad that wasn't the last game. Because let's be honest, if Denmark was our last game, we would probably have beaten Slovenia. We would have gone through and we'd be like, yeah, it's the last game. Because it's a second game, it hits more closer to home. But now, it's a learning curve. And the question is, do we bounce back? Or we get thrown in the bin? I think we get thrown in the bin. I think we lose to Slovenia and we get knocked out. I'm not even kidding. We're going to get knocked out either in the group stages, round 16 or quarterfinal. Not semi-final, not final. And that sounds ridiculous, but I can't see us getting past a quarter. I might be wrong, and I might be doubting. But after tonight, do you really think it's coming home? Because I don't. I think we are going home. It's not coming home. Well, I'm going to get a shirt on, but I've not done this review. I mean, I said what I said last night, and I'm looking at it now, and a lot of people are looking at Southgate as the issue. And I'm going to say it's 60% him, 40% the players, because... Give me a sec, because I need to put a shirt on. But, I mean, for players to, you know, sorry about this, maybe didn't want to see my belly, but I can't understand. I've never played football at that level, but what I can't understand is why you go and play like that, you know, and not go out and win. It just mind boggles me a bit, you know. This video might be a 3-day period where after 3 days might say, but you know, I can't believe that Southgate has gone out there and, you know, wanted to win that game. From my point of view, sounds so harsh, and people will be like, no, Southgate did. But if you look at the way the players were playing, and there was a moment between, I think it was Trippier and Pickford right at the end, and they were arguing. And even in that last, if you watch the last, I say 6 minutes, where we had, I think it was 4 free kicks in 6 minutes, nothing at all. I mean, it's utterly frustrating that we had to go through that last night. And I just watching Gary Lineker's and Marco Richards and Alan Shiller's podcasts. Really good podcast, actually, if you love your football. And they just talk about what's happened in the footballing world every day. And they're in Berlin right now. But yeah, just absolutely frustrating. I'm gonna be back in a sec. I'm just doing something quickly. What I find least, what I find not least disrespectful, but really disrespectful from Southgate is about the holding midfielder situation, and he's tested it out with Trent, but it's clearly obvious it didn't work last game, and it's clearly obvious it didn't work this game. I mean, that was the only real change that they should have made in the game. I don't think you change Kane or that front three. You maybe change Kane and you put Foden in the middle. But for him to come out and say, oh, there's no better holding midfielder than Calvin Phillips, I thought was honourably disrespectful to Alexander-Arnold and to any midfielder that's part of that squad. I mean, you could have picked him. You should have picked him. If you thought that, why didn't you do it? And it's like, it seems to me, from what I'm seeing from this manager now, is he's blaming the players. And the players can be blamed because they did not perform to his standards, but it's mainly his fault. He picked that squad yesterday. He trained them. He taught them, like how he wanted them to play. And it's not been as clear in the past how bad Southgate has been. But yesterday was dreadful. And watching the Gary Lineker and Michael Richards and Alan Shearer podcast, they were saying it brings the mood down of the nation. And I'll be honest with you, it does. I didn't see anyone happy. I mean, I couldn't watch the game properly because I was working. But the stuff I watched, there was an element at the beginning of the game that was not too bad. I mean, it was a really good start from England again. But it was only up to that first goal where we fell back. But I think the biggest problem we've got as a team is how do we change our ways? Because we've had this way for 2 games now, and even leading into the tournament, we didn't look great against 2 nations that are very similar to the 3 nations we have in our group. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, Slovenia have been on phenomenal form. I've got this shirt on the wrong way round. That's why the buttons were the wrong way round. I was just looking at my shirt and I had my buttons the wrong way round. That's just stupid of me. But no, this is a hell of a long video because I do want to give you my reaction. Because I keep watching other people. Other people have different opinions. Some people say keep Kane. I can't see that happening next game, and I had this weird feeling that Cole Palmer is going to actually play the next game. I can't see why not. You put him on the wing or in the midfield. One of those two he does really well. I think preferably you put him in the midfield because he's had a bit more experience than Trent, and that might have been an option last game. I mean, it is a big issue. We don't have a holding midfielder right now, and I don't know why we didn't take. We took players to this tournament like Mayu and all those players, and I don't know why he hasn't tested them out. Like when this is another thing that it doesn't go into my head. How is that not being looked at? You got 26 players, probably the most depth squad of the tournament, with France and Portugal, and maybe now Germany, and you're not using it to its strengths. And this is a problem because now it's clear you're not using it to its strengths. And managers make changes. Big managers at tournaments, you'll see it with Portugal did it with Ronaldo, the last World Cup. We've seen it loads of times with the Italians. The French do it, a lot, especially with Saliba. He wasn't meant. He's a player that sometimes isn't considered to be a defender of what they want. We don't have that at the moment, and that's a real big issue. I don't know. I mean, this video is going to be a long one because I want to give you my full reaction until I've actually settled down. But yeah, I don't know what's the ideal for it. I mean, the defence has not been that bad. Without Shaw and without what's it called? Maguire. I don't know why they didn't pick Maguire. I think he's injured. I'm for sure he's injured. But it comes back to a lot of people don't like that back line, but Gay's been good. I don't think Gay and Stones should be out of that squad. I think maybe Trippier could be out of the squad. I mean, you take Trippier out and then maybe put Alexander-Arnold in that position, or Kyle Walker, you swap him onto the other side of the pitch. Again, it's issues because even if you change the squad, are the boys up for it? I don't think... The only thing that wouldn't have worked if the players were up for it would definitely be Alexander-Arnold's position. I can't understand it. I know it's happened a few times at Liverpool, but that's a completely different type of manager, and I don't know why. He probably thought that would work after 2 games. It didn't. I think he was worse in the first game than the second game, but he didn't bring anything in that position, and it's the same with Bellingham in the second game. He brought a lot to the first game in that first 30 minutes, but there was nothing. I mean, there's elements, the end of the game, like Eze, he tried. I could see what he was doing because I watched the last 10 minutes. Watching that last 10 minutes was heartbreaking to those players that just come on. And it's heartbreaking for Cole Palmer again. He's confused why he's not being picked. I think the problem we have as a nation is we're not picking the right players. We're looking at, experience over new players, and we need to pick players that've done well this year. Cole Palmer has, I think, scored 33 goals. Was the reason Chelsea got top 6. And was probably one of the best players. And I don't know what's the tactic with him. Maybe it's wait until we go further in the tournament. Maybe use him for penalties. I think that's the clear option. But it's like Ollie Watkins. You start him. If you started him yesterday against Denmark, you got a very, sort of aggressive attack against Denmark. And then you get 2 goals, and you can hang on from 2 goals up, and that would be acceptable. But for 1 goal, hang on last game, and then 1 goal, hang on again, and then concede, the goal has been brilliant. And I think another thing that we've got issue is, this is just a rumour, apparently the ball suits outside shots. So if you take, this is why there's been so many outside shots, and it's a clever thing from a German perspective to have outside shots because it brings audiences and people are like, wow, these goals are coming in. But now that's been exposed, it's kind of like, it's a bit like the Giovanni, but not as bad as the Giovanni. I think the Giovanni had a little more of a curve. This just goes straight into the net. And I saw that last game, we were taking more shots outside the box. This game, we did a lot inside the box. And what I've noticed at this tournament, especially with, I think it was the Slovenia game and with Ukraine and with a lot of teams that did very well at doing that last tournament, inside shots aren't working. We need to take more of a risk outside the box, because you look at most of these goals, they are outside, either on the edge of the box or outside the goal, and they are being hit pretty hard. My, I think, big problem is we're looking at how we're playing, and it's not good. It's not good. There's something has to change in order to progress. If we, and I think for me, we have to score loads of goals against Slovenia, because I think if we get 4 or 5 goals, we could kind of overlook it and maybe say, yeah, that was a bit of a process. But I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're only going to get 1 goal and then maybe another draw if we're not careful. But now there is questions, because you cannot put the same squad out. You just can't. If everyone is on board saying you can't, you can't. And Southgate could do 1 or 2 things. He could go, yeah, I'll listen to you, let's change it up a bit completely, or he won't. We don't know yet, but it's going to be a tough and intense training thing. I mean, we go back, I was talking, I think I talked about Scotland, but Scotland's performance, not yesterday, but the day before, was impressive. And they've actually shown more heart than England at this tournament. Okay, the first game was pretty similar to our game in the second round, with kind of small roles, but still Scotland has shown more heart, and Scotland deserve it more than us. But there's that element of, if we draw, Denmark will probably win and we go through first, but we will struggle. We will have a Czechia, or I think maybe a Turkey. I'm gonna say it will most likely be a Czechia at the moment, or could probably be a Georgia, any of those players. But yeah, it's not looking very good at the moment. No, no, no.